Hey everyone, it's Simone Milasas, and we have a new JCF here, Venus Castleberg. Welcome, Venus.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So whereabouts are you based?
I am in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Salt Lake City, Utah. Do you ski?
I do, yes. I grew up in Alaska, so yes.
Right. I must go there sometime. I heard that the slopes there are huge and wonderful, and you get lots of snow. So
They're
I'll have
amazing. Please come. I'd love to have you here.
Yeah. All right, we'll put that on the agenda. At the moment, I'm just hoping that, I'm still obviously stuck in Australia, and we have ski fields in Victoria and New South Wales. But at the moment, the state I live in, Queensland, they're being so adamant that they won't let people in or out because we have the Sunshine State. So it's actually still tropical. So the rest of Australia is getting cold going, we want to go to Queensland. And I don't think they're letting us out at the moment. But anyway, we'll see. I want to go skiing. So let's start off with what is joy of business for you?
Well, it's actually the possibility that business could be joyful and fun and not what I was taught, which was the arduous work hard for money,
So is that what you grew up with, like the people around you, or was there anyone else that functioned from a different point of view, or did you always think you were like, oh my God, I'm the odd one out here?
Well, I didn't necessarily think I was the odd one out until I read your book.
Okay.
And then
we have this here.
Yes.
Yeah, here we go. And then did you go, oh my God,
there's a different possibility here. Yes. Yeah. I was so amazed. I was like, oh my God. And I guess, yes, on some level, I knew even when I discovered Access Consciousness and Joy of Business that there was something else possible. So when these things came into my life, I was like, yes. Yeah. Like
me too.
Yeah. But no, when I was growing up, everybody believed. I mean, my dad was like, well, if you don't have a job, you could always go work for McDonald's. And I was like, what?
That's not going to be my life. I'm not doing that.
No. I mean, I guess I'm grateful because it's not my life.
Well, I actually threatened my my stepson with that at one point, and he was like, "Great, then I get to eat all the McDonald's I want." And I was like, "Oh, that didn't work." So next question is, what made you choose to become a Joy Business Facilitator?
You.
Well, I didn't tell her, by the way, say you're going to eat McDonald's for the rest of your life if you don't become one. That wasn't what occurred.
No, just like when I read the book, which was the second book I read in Access Consciousness 7 years ago, I was like, I really do desire that. And when it presented itself, like as if by magic, that I could become a JCF and give other people this possibility, I was like, my dream is that everybody gets that they have a different choice in every area of their life, and that they don't have to be stuck in what they were taught or how they grew up or what they believe, and they can choose something different. And if people could get that in business, what a greater world we'd live in. So
yeah. I so agree with you. And one of the favorite things I heard very early on in coming to Access classes was, I think it was Gary that said, what if every single thing you've been told you found out was a lie? And I was like, whoa, what if everything you've been told you found out was a lie? And it's like, then you get to create what you know. And that's the thing I love about Access Consciousness and Joy Business and the tools. What do you know? Like, yes, you might have some, letters after your name. You might have a degree. You might have 3 degrees. And what if it wasn't relevant? What do you know? It's like, that's the thing that I love about all of this. So what would be your favorite, just for today, because I know that it changes all the time, but what would be your favorite tool that you use in business?
Believe it or not, it's actually being grateful for wherever it is right now. So because like, I know that gratitude grows and things grow with gratitude. And if you're judging it as wrong, or it's not happening fast enough, or like stopping the judgment and being grateful for it, has shifted everything for me. And
so did you always function like that, or did you like no.
This That's quite funny. No, actually, I operated from judgment 24/7. Judgment of me, judgment of my money, judgment of my businesses, everything.
So let's expand on this a little bit more, because I remember having a conversation with a friend of mine many, many years ago, and I was telling her about Access, and she was absolutely not interested. But one of the things I was talking about was, imagine a world with no judgment. And she looked at me like I was crazy and said, you have to judge. And I said, why do you have to judge? And she said, because that's how you create. And I went, oh, that's how people think that they create.
Yep.
And it's like, no, it's like if you judge what's not in your bank account, that you go, I have no money, you know, when you judge it, money doesn't go, oh, damn, I better show up tomorrow. It's like, but so can you talk about that for you, with the difference between judgment and gratitude, and what you've noticed?
Money was actually where I really started with it, was like, okay, so I know that I'm judging that I don't have enough. And for me, like, being grateful for the pennies, I find money everywhere. Like, I'm just one of those people, and I'm so grateful for what I find. Like, I'm always just like, money, yay. And people are like, you're really excited about that penny. And I'm like, I am, because I'm so grateful for that I have a new penny.
That is true, though. It's like, I mean, if you look at the old, you just reminded me that old saying, see a penny, pick it up, and all day long you'll have good luck.
Yep.
And it's like, but what if there was a slight slant on that of like, you know, see a penny, pick it up, be grateful for it, and then, you know, all day long you'll have good luck, but you'll also have more show up. It's like people get so, you know, judged the $1,000 that they haven't made, or the $10,000 they haven't made, rather than like, I just made $10. Awesome. Can't get any better than this.
What was it?
So what's one of your favorite tools in regards to money?
Oh, the 10% account.
Okay, so can you expand on that for people who don't know anything about the 10% account?
Yes. This changed my financial reality, and so I'm so excited.
Me too, by the way.
Yes. So you putting away 10% of every dollar you earn as an honoring of you. Put it into a have account. It's not an account to spend. It's just about honoring you and getting to a point where you have money. And it changed my entire financial reality. One, the focus of paying my bills first shifted. So I stopped having that be my focus. And then honoring me was first. And then I got to a point in my bank account where I don't worry about money anymore. It's just not it's not relevant to me anymore. Whereas before, man, oh, it was tough. Like, barely making it by often, you know.
So can I ask you, when you first started to use this tool, did you embrace it? Were you like, yes, I'm going to use this tool straight away, or did you resist it?
Well, I love that it all came from your book. Like, seriously, I started when I read it in your book.
Right. Well, but we also have, this is so funny, I because I'm working from home, so I actually have all my everything sitting around here. So I feel like when I do all these lives or do something, I'm like, hey, here's my prop. But I haven't tidied up my desk. So anyway, but this is the second book I wrote, Getting Out of Debt Joyfully, which the Joy Business Facilitators also do classes in.
Yes.
Getting out of debt joyfully. Remember that word, joyfully. On the end.
Right. So I did do it right away, but I also spent it a couple times. So
and judged yourself, I bet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I made myself wrong. And then, but what I also noticed was it stopped being an honoree of me. So then after about the second time of doing that, I was like, oh, this really doesn't work for me, because it almost made my money worse, more stressful. So yeah. I haven't touched it since.
Yay. No, I was lucky enough to have, when I started my 10% account, it was not long after I met Dane here, who's the co-creator of Access. And I watched him go through this thing where he spent his 10% and then he had all this stuff with money show up. And I literally felt like I was watching TV. I was like, thanks for taking one for the team, Dane. I'm not doing that. So I never actually did spend my 10%. I have purchased things that have, you know, what I would say intrinsic value, like some jewelry, etc. Mm-hmm. And people always ask, oh, can I spend my money on this? You'll know. Because like you said, Venus, it's like there's an amount of money that you have in your bank account that creates this huge amount of this sense of peace and freedom in you that, and it's different for every single person. Someone it might be a couple of thousand, someone it might be 300,000, whatever. It's like your reality with finances is different, but whatever that amount of money for you is, and when you have that 10% just sitting there, it's like it creates such a different energy. And this is one of the tools that I resisted the most. I was like, this makes no sense. I mean, I was 187,000 Australian dollars in debt and used this tool. I was like, well, I got to do something different because everything I was doing wasn't working. So yeah, that's when I used that, but I did resist it. And so I gave myself the homework of going, okay, I'll do it for 3 months. What's the worst thing that happens at 3 months? I can just spend the money and I'll have some money. But what I noticed is at the end of that, I had this sense of peace with money. So yeah, great tool. Yeah. Yes, very excited about it. So what would you like to change in the world with Joy Business and using the Access Consciousness tools?
I started to touch on it because it always almost makes me cry. But my real desire with Access Consciousness and Joy of Business is that everybody gets that they have choice. If something's not working in your life, you can choose something different. If something's not working in your business, you can choose something different. There's so much more available beyond what we've been taught or this reality even. Like there's magic and miracles and mysteries and possibilities that you can't even imagine.
Yeah, and there really is. And I know if you're watching this or listening to this or whatever, and you haven't been to an Access class, I know that sounds like so like airy fairy, but it's not. What I would ask is, what do you know? Like when we're talking, and one of the things that I was very grateful for when I first met Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, he said, don't trust me, trust you. And I was like, oh, thank God someone's not like telling me to trust them again, you know? And what I'm asking, if you're listening to this too, is don't trust Venus, don't trust me, trust you. What do you know? Like as we talk, and when Venus says that yes, there is possibilities, there is magic out there, there is other possibilities. Is that light for you? If it's light for you, please come check out a class, or just go do your own research as well. I've just put the link up there that you can check out. You can find Venus's page also on the accessconsciousness.com page. And we're actually like, we would like you to go check out everything. So you can go also find accessjoybusiness.com. There's a whole lot of other facilitators around the world too doing classes. You actually have a class coming up very soon though, Venus. You're co-facilitating with Lale Hancock, I hear.
Lale Hancock, I'm so excited. Yeah, June 7th we start. So it's
June 7th. And that's a Business Done Different class, is that right?
Business Done Different, yes.
Okay, so it's a Business Done Different class, which is a 3-day class. I'm not sure what time span you're doing it on now. I know everyone's sort of mixing it up because we have online and trying to engage with all these different, timings around the world. But if you go check it out on Venus's page, you can find that. And there's no prerequisites to this class. What I will say is you need to have like the courage to just come in and go, you know what if there was something entirely different available? And these lovely ladies, Venus and Lale, will definitely contribute to you with that. So is there anything else you want to leave everyone with? Another tool, question, anything at all?
Well, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? What would you choose? And at least just try, just go and do something and see what it creates for you, whatever it is, so what would you choose?
I love that. That's one of the sayings I grew up with. Imagine what you do if you knew you couldn't fail. Because I always looked at it as you can't fail is a judgment, like we said.
Right.
Nothing ever shows up the way you think it's going to show up. Like not one day has it ever been that you go, yes, that day showed up exactly like I thought it was going to show up. It doesn't work like that. And right now, I think it's hysterical because I'm a control freak of magnitude. I know a lot of people are. You can't control anything. It's like, whoa, it's like what is occurring in the world? So what if this is where we actually get to have the adventure? And what if you just keep choosing and asking questions? And please go check it out, accessjoybusiness.com, or like I said, you can go find Venus at the accessconsciousness.com too. So I'll definitely come out to Utah at some point and go skiing. But you're in now.
Stay with us. We would love to have.
Thank you so much, Venus, for coming on here, and have way too much fun in your class with Lale. It's going to be good.
So excited. Thank you so much, Simone, for everything. You're such a gift.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.